producer and real-life son of the character Viggo Mortensen plays in the film, Nick Vallelonga. And Viggo Mortensen.
Thank you all for coming. It's a very special film for us, and if you want to stay afterwards, we'll come and answer some questions for you. Enjoy the film.
Enjoy the show. I see a few more people are sitting down, but we'll start it pretty quickly. And look forward to answering your questions if we can afterwards. Hope you're not too perplexed.
Nick Vallelonga, his father was the Vallelonga in the movie, and Viggo Mortensen. Nick, congratulations on this beautifully told story.
Great audience. Thank you.
Nick, this is your dad's story, and you had this remarkable actor to play your dad in the movie. Can you talk about how he put the character together, how he transformed himself, and did it work? Was he your dad?
He morphed into my dad. Some of you who don't know my dad, now you know my dad. Exactly.
I ate myself my way there.
I said this the other night, the first time I really had a chance to meet Viggo and bring around my family. I said, come by, and he wanted to come by, and you'll meet some of my family, we'll have something to eat. And he ate for 8 hours. And I said, he's become my father already. But he really studied my father's voice. We had a lot of footage on my father telling me the story by taping him. He just did an amazing, amazing transformation. And on the set, it was very, obviously emotional all the way around for me, but a lot of times out of the corner of my eye, I would hear my father turn his head. Amazing job. You did great honor to him.
I think when, I wasn't there, but I guess when some of the Shirley family showed up and saw it not so long ago, they had a similar, and Shirley's friends from New York, artist friends like that, they were like, wow, it's so weird. Mahershala, same feeling, right?
What Mahershala did, they said he's him. It's unbelievable.
Remarkable. All right, we've got some time for your questions, so let's put your hands up. There you go. Yes.
How did they film the piano scenes?
How did they film the piano scenes?
Very carefully. Mahershala studied for a couple of months, and he did his thing, and then Chris Bowers, who wrote the score, also worked with Mahershala and did some stuff. So it's the magic of filmmaking. I think it looked pretty good. Right?
Pretty seamless.
All right, yes, right here.
I think the beautiful story and great interest. And I think what Tony and Doc found is something that a lot of people find. We have more in common than we ever first expected.
Absolutely.
Out of that commonality, it seems easier for a flow of acceptance and celebration of our differences. And I want to know what the two of you gentlemen, wonderful gentlemen, brilliant, who think was a special little insight that you picked up that made them something in common they had, something that was completely different that we don't know about that would be special to you.
Question after many compliments deserved for your work. Was there one special insight between the two characters that you found that you could share, and maybe one specific difference between the two?
Well, for me, I think it's right there on the screen. If I was a child and I met Dr. Shirley when I was 5, I was younger than actually portrayed in here. I was the older of the two for the kids. But from then, you know, having my father meet him and how it changed my father and how he taught us to live our lives. So it's been resonating with me my whole life, and I always wanted to tell the story. And it's as important now as it was then. I think it, you know, it's educational and showing people, let's not forget how things were, but let's look how things are now. And by just two people talking to each other, spending time with each other, you realize how we're all the same. So
I agree, and it's like in this story, you know, you got a situation where two people who seem to be very different, so different that it's extremely unlikely that they're going to become friends. And it does take some time before there's some mutual respect there and understanding. But whether they want to learn about each other and come to understand each other's, you know, points of view or not, they are forced to. It's either, you know, unless Tony quits or gets fired, or the trip ends prematurely, you know, they're going to get to know each other whether they like it or not. And inevitably, when you're in that situation, it doesn't matter who you are. You may not end up being friends or really good friends, but you're going to learn something about the other person and about yourself, you know. And I think, obviously, it's about many things. And I think that when a story works this well and tackles something as complicated as race relations, socio-economic differences, it's a period piece, it's ambitious musically, thematically, but it looks deceptively simple. It's very hard to do that. But I do think that generally, you know, going to what you said, it's, you know, anybody can get along with anybody. It's a matter of having the right circumstances and wanting to. Showing some interest, taking the first step. You know, it's like that line that Tony says, you know, the world's full of people afraid to make the first move. I mean, it's an important thought, an important line. And I think also this story tells you, I mean, here's Nick Vallelonga who brought this, he had this idea for 30 years, 25 years, I don't know.
whole life.
Your whole life. And since, you know, and eventually it ends up, you know, Brian Curry, Pete Farrelly, and they all work on it together. And for us, Mahershala and me, it was great because they were on the set all the time. And we could, you know, just, you know, pick your brain, and it was great. But it doesn't really matter who is telling the story. You know, that's another danger that we get into in the effort to try to get along and make sure that everybody is counted, everybody's voice is counted. Sometimes people come to think that certain groups, certain people have a higher right or a monopoly on the right to try to get along, to try to understand each other, to try to put it into a story. I mean, anybody can talk about anybody can talk to anybody can listen to anybody. And when they do, anything can happen, as we see in this movie.
And I think, and he's not here tonight, Peter Farrelly, the director. I think he did with, you know, when I wrote the script with Brian and then with Pete, and then the challenge of, okay, we have a subject matter that's kind of heavy-handed if it's done a certain way. So how do we get a message across, but keep it moving and keep it entertaining and keep it light? You know, you can tell that this story in a lot of different ways, but Pete really was on top of us with the script, and then when he made the film, to mix in the humor and the fun and then the heavy part, you know, so that you learn about the Green Book, but we're not hitting you in the head with the Green Book. But you see what people went through in the South during that time. So I think Peter, we owe so much to him for the way he balanced his film and how he directed it.
And who expected Pete Farrelly to do this? Seriously, I mean, you know, it's, I mean, yes, he had an advantage, he had a leg up in terms of helping ensure that the timing of the comedy that's there, the situational comedy that worked. But I have to say, I don't know how many people, you know, they've seen the trailer. Now you've seen it, you know, but people have seen the trailer, which is entertaining, it's good. Like, okay, get a buddy move, but it's Pete Farrelly. Okay, it's going to be maybe at best fun, you know. But they don't realize how profound and how complex a story is put together. And I don't think anybody's going to deny that Pete Farrelly could probably try his hand at just about anything after this. You know, I mean, he should have that right. And I don't know, maybe he'll become this our time's Preston Sturges or something. Right.
It's time for a couple more questions. Let's go right here. Question is, did the doctor ever connect with his family?
Yes, he did. He was fascinated with my father and the family, and then he really connected with his own again, and it was special. You know, I think they affected each other in so many ways. We can make 3 movies really with the story.
Fantastic. Is there a question up here? Actually, so go ahead, but we'll go there next.
Were there many stories you wish you could have included in this film? Were there lots of stuff?
Were there other stories you wish you could have included?
Yeah, as I just said, yeah, they went on for about another year together, and then Dr. Shirley was going to go to Europe to do a gigantic tour, and then my mother said enough's enough. Staying home.
They did come to Canada though, too. I
They
think.
did come to Canada, absolutely.
That's great. Yes, right there.
Hello. Thank you so much for bringing this film to us. I think it's brilliant in the fact that you balanced a dark concept with great humor. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the process of doing that comedic timing?
The question is about balancing the seriousness of the subject matter with the comedy and the timing of that. How did you manage
Well,
that?
as I mentioned, start with the script. My father's a character, you know, you can't make him up. Everything in there you saw is true. So that lends itself to a lot of comedy anyway, so I had that. A lot of the words are right out of his mouth when he was telling the story from what I take, and a lot of the dialogue is right from them. But then, you know, we had to incorporate the film works. And with Brian Curtis, one of the funniest guys I've ever known, and then you bring Pete in. So it was a process, but we wanted to make sure where the funny goes and where it doesn't. And some of the stuff was just organic. I mean, you know, you write it on the page, and that fried chicken scene is all true. But I wasn't sure, you know, my father told me that verbatim, exactly the way you see it. But you don't know if it's going to work. And then you have these guys, Mahershala and Viggo. He brought it to a whole other level.
I don't think before this movie people would say I'm known for like comedic. On the contrary, probably. Although I've always tried to get some little wink here and there when it was appropriate out of the situation, different ones.
Tell them how much chicken you eat that day.
Well, here's something. Mahershala was, as he should have been, very meticulous about his speech, in particular about everything, you know, fussy about everything. Just like I'm very meticulous about my research and trying to get the right timing and everything. But he was like so on it. And we shot that chicken scene early on, so it was still quite warm. That's why I'm so sweaty and stuff. But I was also sweaty because I was just like exhausted from eating all that food. And, you know, it's a lot of takes, and then it's this angle and that angle, so each time you're eating all that food again. And from you know, starting anew, you know, with another breast and another wing and another breast. And but Mahershala was so precise, which I admire, but we'd be like halfway through scene and then he'd just suddenly back up. I was like, oh my God, he's gone back 2 pages. And the people would go, grab another breast. So I'd toss the breast and I'd grab a big, fat, fresh one and start over. And I did that several times. So it's like, instead of eating like, you know, 4 or 5 breasts, which is a lot, and, you know, 5, 6 wings and a couple of legs and like that. I don't know how many. I mean, it was a dozen.
It's in the 20s.
They had to like drag me out of there, but I did get him because he was unflappable. He was like precise. You know, he makes Sidney Poitier sound like Tony Lip, and which is great. You know, that's about Shirley. And but there was, I finally was like, oh my God. And I was like, I was eating something, it was one of the line readings, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was when I spat that bone on the floor. And he didn't answer. He missed his cue. I waited and waited. And I might have said the line again, took another bite, said the line again, nothing. And then I looked back over the seat, and he's curled up in a fetal position on the floor, laughing so hard. Crying. I was like, yeah! Once. No, but the comedy is, it's an art form. I mean, I admire people that can really make it work. Like the guy playing Johnny, Sebastian Maniscalco, he's like really gifted comedian. And we were lucky to have him. But it's not so much the sound of the lines, it's the timing, you know, it's the rhythm of it. And what really makes any joke work is the reaction. And that was something as we were shooting, you know, the rear view, often it was the camera was there. So I wasn't really seeing him in the rear view, I was pretending I was. So it was like all new to me when I saw the movie finally. I'm like, so that's what he was doing, you know? Because when I would say something ridiculous, like he's saying he's Russian, I'm like, yeah, German, and all that. And but his patient, you know, for a while, reactions where he's just that's what really makes it sell it, you know? It's the reactions to the joke. Anyway, I learned a lot about that from Mahershala, but especially from Pete. Yeah, it was fun. I like it.
Terrific work. We want to see more comedies.